Good morning. Welcome back. It is December 1st. We made it to December. Hope everyone had a good break last week. I was off with some family. Enjoyed it. Had a lot of turkey, a lot of ham, a lot of good things to eat. It was fun. But I am happy to be back. Um, we are going to today touch on some fun agent stuff. So excited to do that. Thinking we're going to do a Slack agent. So something pulling from Workday and pushing into Slack. Have my coffee and I'm raring to go. Um, Good morning, Niels. All right, I am going to first touch on a few things that I thought was pretty interesting this morning. First and foremost is going to be the Bears are now in the first place seed in the NFC. I am unfortunately a longtime Bears fan, but today has been a good year. So it should be a pretty interesting rest of the regular season. Black Friday. I'm not a huge fan of Black Friday, but I did find a few things that were a little bit of interest to me. I am actually a big fan of the HyperX brand. This particular microphone is HyperX. I enjoy it. I also use one of these headsets as well. Bose is also running a pretty good deal on their Quiet Comfort, almost half off those really expensive headphones. So if you're in the market for those, pretty good deal. HBO Max is actually running a $3 a month deal for the next 12 months. It's pretty decent deal if you're wanting to watch any of the HBO stuff. And then also Costco does their gift cards. They're usually a pretty good deal already. You get $10 off $100 worth of gift cards, but right now you get $20 off worth of $100 worth of Nintendo gift cards. So check that out. Again, none of these are paid sponsorships. These are just interesting deals that I found on Cyber Monday. And last, if you guys did not catch at Rising, Pipedream is a new acquisition for Workday. Another Flowise, or not a Flowise was another earlier acquisition. Pipedream is another agent builder that has a boatload of connectors baked into it. Might want to play with that as well at some point along here. I dabbled a little bit before the break, but I definitely need to see what exactly Pipedream has to offer as far as its agent builder goes. I Yeah, so kind of diving into the Pipedream piece, it's got this little basically a chat window very similar to all your LLMs at this point that you can kind of talk natural language to, and it'll start cranking out your app for you. It had some pre-baked stuff I was doing here. So if you navigate to Pipedream, you can start playing with it without logging in or anything. And it has some pre-baked stuff that it's obviously clearly good at. So you can add stuff to Google Sheets or send messages to Slack or send some emails. And maybe we'll play with this at some point on this stream. But I wanted to jump back to Flowise. So I believe it was last Monday or Tuesday we were playing with the agent builder in Cursor. So this is that multi-agent cursor, multi-agent experience within an IDE. Cursor is baked on top of Visual Studio, but it is its own IDE that has its agents built directly into it. And we use those agents to do a few things. We created an MCP server, which can then talk to our Flowise agents. And then those Flowise agents are able to utilize any tools that we build on that MCP server to, further create depth into that particular agent. So that's kind of where I wanted to jump in today, was actually using that Flowise server that we built not last week, but the week before, to create some additional tools to put into a Flowise agent to be able to talk to Slack and get some data out of Workday and send some relevant information to the channel. So let's go ahead and get started with that. So we're going to jump over to our Flowise instance. Again, this is a local instance of Flowise. You can use the web version on, I believe it's flowise.com .ai. Not flowiseai.com. So this will give you a very similar experience if you want to not have to set it up locally and have that drag and drop experience in a web-based browser. So you can create exactly what we're going to do today in our local instance, but you can do it in a web browser. And again, you can export these and move them from instances to instances if you need to. So here in our local instance where we set up, we're going to create a new agent, version 2 of these agents. That's cool. All right, so let's go ahead and add a new agent. We're gonna title this something a little bit more descriptive than untitled agent. We'll just call this Slack message agent. All right, so we have our start button, and we're going to, we could try to use our little builder here. I want agent that can send a message to a Slack channel. Start simple and then work our way into actually Workday data. So I'm using my Anthropic agent flow. This is going to use my credentials that I've plugged in from my Claude API key, all that good stuff. So if you want to grab this for yourself, it's very easy to set up. You just go to Anthropic and sign up for an API key. I think you have to put your credit card and $5 in there to get started. But again, when you're testing, they're super low frequency, doing like 0.005 per token transaction. Generate. Failed to generate. Okay, that's fine. So we're gonna go ahead and just drop in an agent. Our agent can add our model up here, Anthropic, credentials plugged in, pick the Sonnet 4. This is kind of the generic one that your Claude uses just generically when you go to claude.ai, and this is the one that it's going to be used to give you all your information. If you want to use these other ones, Opus is the one that thinks a little bit longer. Haiku's the quicker one. I think I need to change in these other default values. So anything that comes into this agent is essentially just going to get sent our chat. Give me an actual response from Claude. Saying it's done. Maybe I actually have to tell it to output. I do it up reference. Variable. I need to create a variable from the agent back. Specify responding. Outputted my question. What? actually want it to send a reply back. I want it to be agent response. This custom function I know to create a variable, go through much effort. Okay. I see. When you type that curly bracket into any of these, you can kind of see existing global variables or flow variables. That just if I'm connected here, can I just time is it? All one flow looks like. Not surprising. Time is approximate reference. Yeah, I guess I have to build your prompt here. Getting that error. Error from oh, so I guess you can assign roles to agent. Neat. It does. Local instances right now. Let's try the web version. Check while I log in here. Update Flowise. Grab Flowise. Start it again. So this is now the web version. This is not my local instance. I have to troubleshoot why my agent was kind of airing out on me. We'll have to do my credentials. Save this and agent. My credential reference Claude API key. going to show you guys how to actually put in a credential. So up here, when you pick new ones, you can create a new credential. This is going to be Claude, actual API key, add button. Back from the Claude website. Grab my API key. Topic seems to be clean. This API key is operating for me. Anywho, jump back to our local instance. While that spins and I stick that credential in there, we will try the Slack piece. So what we're trying to do here is create an agent to talk to Slack directly. I'm having some issues with the credentials at the moment. Tropic is sitting on me. But we can do the Slack piece of things. So Slack is pretty good for their documentation. Docs.slack.dev has kind of all the ins and outs on all their APIs and good stuff. I already have created a webhook that we're going to use for this particular demonstration, but you could essentially create a bot to push out these messages via API as well. So I have a quick terminal command here. Go ahead and show you the whole thing. So if you've been to any of our hackathons, you know that we actually use Slack to kind of handle all of our ticketing. That's our expert bot that we use. But this is just a simple test bot that I created. Won't show you any of the fun secrets there. That's kind of the authentication piece. But within here, you can actually create webhooks to any of the channels that you have access to. And we're going to, this is just a very simple webhook to this channel called Flowise test. We're actually going to be playing with this in the DevCon hackathon Slack workspace. So if you're still in there, you might be able to see this channel. And then I'm going to just test this quick curl. Again, this is just a very rudimentary a rudimentary webhook. So there it is. Here's the actual webhook itself. It's just a curl sending this HTTP request. Hello world test. And then that sends a message to this Slack channel. I will delete this webhook after this because the real way to do this is, again, to create a API request to hit this, not using webhooks, because webhooks obviously have security concerns and other things that we don't really want to deal with long term. So this is just testing out that we can hit a webhook with an agent and it's going to push data into our Slack instance. Let's jump back now to my Flowise. Since this agent is kind of blowing up on me, I'm going to just kind of mock this up with a. So this is going to be a placeholder for my actual agent that's going to do the LLM work. But instead of an LLM, again, we're literally going to do this HTTP curl. So, well, a webhook post, and I need three parameter of text value is going to be whatever we're sending in. We can see should just send two Slack response. So save this. Again, basically any message that gets sent into this agent should then send that message into Slack. Message from Flowise. Post. Headers. As well. Here. Getting a 400 because I literally just tested this curl. No authentication on post. Pick it in as the raw. My local add post. Oh, it works. Piece of just saw it coming through. Next same thing. I had my local instance. Okay, that worked. So it's my local instance. Here's the updated or that functions. Let's time. We do. We can do this. Chat box. I want essentially what comes through the agent to come through. Give it. It didn't like that. Aha, perfect. All right, well that took a little bit longer than I was hoping for. Our my Claude API key was being stubborn, but we effectively got to where we were trying to go just with an HTTP call. Tomorrow I will replace this with an actual LLM agent when I get my Claude code from the actual API key, and the LLM will work. We can then talk to Slack using an LLM as an intermediary and be able to ask it questions, and then it can post questions to Slack via that way, and then we'll get the bidirectional into Workday, then into Slack, and then probably vice versa. So we can then push from Slack into Workday. So we can create some cool stuff here with these agents, but right now we just have a very, very, very simple Flowise sending a message into Slack. So pretty cool, but we will definitely iterate on this going forward. Thanks for joining.